doing over lockdown has more been sort of me and Coe writing stuff and emailing it to each other. So
bang our heads. It's always reassuring. And but
yeah, it's lovely to hear everyone else suffer, isn't it? Yeah.
we're British. What do you expect? But
we thought it was just us, you know.
well, I mean, everybody is suffering in some way or another during this, and particularly, in the music scene, a lot of bands and that are all suffering to different extents and that. So, I think we're just all trying to get by as best we can at the end of the day.
Trying to be in it. If we could just real quickly, could you guys just explain who you are, play, and who you are in the band, basically?
Well, I'm Tom. I'm the lead singer and guitarist for ColdHarbour.
So.
I'm Coe. I'm the bassist of ColdHarbour.
Bless your cotton socks. And I am Ian, I think, and I am the drummer and occasional warbling backing vocalist for ColdHarbour.
Warbling vocal.
Yeah, you get those death metal growls, you get nice clean singing, and then you get somebody who just wants to imitate bird sounds. That's kind of the position I'm in. I'm taking it in a weird direction.
That's interesting. How did you get into that?
Need to do throat singing.
I was off meditating with shamans whilst learning how to play the didgeridoo in Kathmandu, of all places. And I was like, I heard the birds, and I was like, this is what I want to do. Drumming and bird calls.
I was expecting you to say I befriended a really talented wood pigeon. You really caught me off guard there with your didgeridoo stories.
You're right, that would be a much better story. Should we go back and do it again? Yeah.
Rewind. Okay. Yeah. So wood pigeon backing vocals. I'm all for that. Cool. I mean, how did you guys meet? How did the band start? I mean, I appreciate that's a pretty corny question. How did you
it started predominantly with me originally, and somebody put me in touch. Alex's other half actually put me in touch with Ian because I was looking for a drummer. We had a different person lined up to play bass originally, as Coe wasn't available. He was in a different band at the time. Me and Ian met for drinks and sort of had a chat about the stuff, and we found we had a lot of shared interests, things like gaming and certain television programs, movies, etc.
Same damn age. There's 22
We're all
days.
the same age. Yeah.
Or 6 days or something stupid. I can't remember.
Yeah,
22 days. 22 days. Yeah.
22 days. Because I get 22 days of grief every time I age up.
Fuck. Don't age up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it. But yeah, after a chat, we started jamming and that. The bass player we had at the time dropped out. He couldn't commit to it, unfortunately. And Coe had just recently become recently available from his band. And so I reached out to Coe because I've worked with Alex in various projects before and different things. So we already knew how each other worked. And it sort of just went from there, really. Well, it's just old kid shows that we both grew up watching. It was stuff like computer games and computer consoles that we remember having as kids, like Mega Drive, the SNES, etc. Stuff like that. So, because I was a proper gaming kid.
Did you used to watch Games Master then?
Yes, I do. I do remember that one. And you had the old boy from the astronomy thing, didn't you? Oh, what's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name now.
Patrick Moore.
Patrick Moore.
Yeah,
yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Which I always thought was really odd.
It was really strange, but it worked in such a weird.
It did work in a way, yeah. So
a giant Patrick Moore face.
With the Locutus of Borg look going on. Yes.
Programs
Oh, things like, remembering stuff like, oh God, what were some of the ones we discussed, Ian? Because we went through a whole load. Didn't we?
Thundercats.
Yeah, Thundercats,
He-Man.
Transformers,
Yep.
He-Man.
Yeah, there's so.
Turtles.
I
Oh
mean,
God, yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
There were so many things. It was really strange. It's just finding someone that was almost identical in age to me, and the fact that we had kind of like a bit of a musical click too. Because as much as like I've had a lot of different influences and played a lot of different styles over the years, and I like a lot of different music. Me and Tom especially clicked on a lot of the kind of grunge influences that Tom had at the time as well. He's a big fan of things like Seether, and I'm a massive fan of Seether. I really do like stuff like that. It's a really nice, enjoyable listening.
I mean, you like a lot of grunge music and stuff. Then, would you say like Seether were grunge like, or
No,
they're sort of more post grunge going into metal at times.
Yeah,
they sort of walk a very fine line. But I grew up listening to stuff like Smashing Pumpkins, Screaming Trees, Silverchair, Pearl Jam, Mudhoney. I grew up with a lot of those bands, listening to them, and Alice in Chains is another one I loved.
And I knew 2 of those bands, so we were instantly friends for life.
But I do. But
I think
like
at one
Ian,
point
I listen
everybody
to a
knew-
wide variety. Sorry, Jim, you were going to
Everybody
say.
knew those, like in that sort of particular era, the grunge era. Everybody seemed to know all the bands of that era, didn't they?
Yep.
It's like it was just there in front of everybody. Or maybe being in the UK, we were the ones that just got to hear about the really important ones, But
Well, I don't know, because
I loved.
I don't know about that, because I remember like Dinosaur Jr. and Sonic Youth and stuff like that.
I was thinking to say that.
You know,
Honey, and
yeah,
really,
it was the grunge era was very unique in the sense that it was a hell of a movement, and that's what it was. It was a movement. It started in like the mid '80s with those bands on the underground scene, and it just built up and built up from that till it finally exploded. So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, and how much of I listen to your music and I don't really hear grunge almost. Like, I think you guys are like taking more kind of like a modern influence on that, but like the grunge movement. And I appreciate like you're saying like that was a big influence on obviously how you guys kind of come together as musicians. Would you still say that that is still a very current and relevant influence on your music?
I'd say it's there in the background. But
I mean,
because
I've seen you live, and I think the rawness is there definitely, and that kind of the dry feel to your sound is definitely.
Yeah, I mean it's there on the foundation. It's
Maybe
there on the
not
foundation.
Style, maybe not.
And because of Alex and Ian, who have brought in their influences as well, that's taken a big that's brought something big into the music and actually evolved the sound.
Don't blame that on us. Yeah, no,
for evolving the sound.
It's kind of nice that we whilst we have kind of a few crossovers in each kind of area, there are, we all very clearly come from slightly different musical backgrounds, but they're just enough crossed over at points to kind of work something out together. And I mean, it does kind of open us up to being able to kind of steal influences from pretty much anywhere within those areas as well. So we're not aiming to be like a specific like a hardcore punk band, or we're not going down that one route. We come up with some music and then take it, tweak it, twist it. Maybe we add in a prog section, maybe we unprog it, maybe we make it 4/4 instead of 3/4, maybe we make an 11/8 section in there, God knows. But then you can tell I'm the drummer. But then it's nice to be able to just kind of pull and tear at different genres of music and then just throw it all in a pot and kind of come up with music, because I find it very limitless in the way that we can approach it, at least. And it's definitely very fun. Like the creative process, especially with Tom and Alex, is quite fun because Alex and Tom will just come in occasionally with just like one riff that's been kind of like going around their heads for weeks and weeks and weeks, and they've just come in and they're like, I just have to play this for you, and then they'll play it, and then we'll spend another like 3-4 hours fleshing it out into a fully fledged song, and like I would say that some of our better songs have started to come around now, just literally kind of taking it like those like bubblegum chews, like you start and then we just fucking stretch it out until it's an entire thing. It starts off as this tiny little thing, and yeah, it's fun.
Definitely a drummer thing.
Good thing. Well, we're quite similar, aren't we? Really, that we haven't really pigeonholed our sound at all, other than like calling it heavy metal, because obviously heavy metal covers such a huge spectrum these days of subgenres and things like that. But I think even now we've started to kind of branch into the more of the rock stuff, and I'm looking forward to showing people what that would sound like. But I love that about bands, and I love the fact that you've mentioned that about you guys, because I'm kind of tired of all these bands trying to sound like someone else. So it's an admirable thing for people like yourselves to just say, well, we bring to the table whatever comes to our minds, or whatever comes to the inspiration. But the one problem that I've got with it all is that it's still stuck in pigeonholing bands, still on social media especially, and it just it I just think that has helped to destroy a lot of the way people listen to music nowadays. It's like you're if you call yourself anything, you're just introducing yourself to a lesser audience every time. You come up with a new fucking subgenre. And like I say, I think what you've said there is brilliant, and you've got to try and kind of keep it either the main genre or forget it. Just don't call yourself any genre.
I mean,
Well, yeah.
I think like I brought it up like a few times in stream. I remember like Phil Anselmo saying, like back in the day when Pantera very first kind of in, they took off their top 50 favorite bands and they ripped them off, like their top 50 as a band. He said, and nowadays, modern music, they take their top 5, maybe 4 song like favorite bands and they rip them off. That's why like we've got this kind of lack of creativity, so to speak. Look from the inside out, like I mean, like one of the most notable ones was say like Avenged Sevenfold. When I know Rob Flynn very famously like said that basically they ripped off Metallica like that. Which it once again kind of shows that we're in like the metal society is kind of a thing where you have to be pigeonholed almost, and if you're not pigeonholed, then you're maybe a bit of an outcast, which sucks. I think that really sucks. Like I think it really sucks that like you've got guys like yourselves who are like, you know what, like dude, I've been listening to like loads of Periphery recently. I want to do like a Periphery song. Like, yeah, man, that'd be cool. Like, let's do that. Like a really fucking sick, wicked song. And then the next day you've been listening to loads of Clutch. And you're like, yeah, let's do like a Clutch song, or let's do a Down song. Something completely like away from like the Periphery thing. And I think there's just so much to be said for that. Like, I don't know. Social media kind of dictates you have to have a.
That's kind of what has been happening with me music. Like, good example, Ian and Alex got me listening to Porcupine Tree, and I just started listening to their whole back catalogue, and by the time I'd come back to band practice, I went, oh, I've got an idea for a song, and I sort of just threw a few ideas together and just used Porcupine Tree as like the and I still do it now with other bands that I like, or something that Alex and Ian have got me listening to that I've not heard before. So, one of the other songs we wrote, and this is quite funny, I wrote a riff after listening to something that Ian had given me, and I said, oh, it's brilliant. I think this is in 3/4. And Ian's like, no, it's in 13/4. You just can't count.
Such a drama comment.
But it's true, I can't count. I'm not doing prog on purpose. It's accidental.
I think, like I say, certainly from a guitarist point of view, like you play a riff, man. The riff sounds good the way it is, and then it's drummer to kind of, yeah, you're kind of doing this, so then I have to do this. I can only speak from like my experiences. And Bill, when he writes new songs, like everything's in like 6/8. Everything's in. So like, I have to like warp my log of like beats that I've stuff to like fit 6/8. No, don't apologize. But then again, you do get other songs which are like they swap between like 6/8 and fucking 7/4, and then there's a bar of 4/4 over here, and then it goes into like a bar of I don't know what.
Bit.
So I'm sure like
sounds like us.
yeah. I mean, Camille, when you wrote War Child, did you
What was you
realize?
thinking?
Did you realize what you was creating, or was it like, hey man, this riff works with this riff, and then this works? Like, I've always wanted to ask you that.
You know, on that time I played with a Jacob, and he all the time had a problem to just finish one of the riff and start another one. So he was always confused and lost. So I decided to just cut some of them. So when it was actually 7/8 riff, I just cut the last bar to 6/8, and that's why that stuff just come out,
Edit
so
now.
I'm really sorry. I didn't know that songs will be so much problems, even for people who listen.
We've lost so many drummers over that song. I think we've had 3 drummers like fucking have a hissy fit over
He
it.
must hate drummers.
Yeah, exactly. And here's my resignation form right now. I joke. But in like that same breath, and like speaking of Porcupine Tree, and I'm sure Ian will say like, Sound of Music, like what an amazing song, and it's got a flow, and you don't realise it's in 7/8.
The way I've always had a wonderful fascination with any drummer. I mean, Gavin is right up there in this list, but with any drummer that and any band that can take a track in a specific time signature and just make people forget that it's in anything other than 4/4. Because when you're listening to a track, most people sitting there. I mean, all of us are probably sitting there thinking, "Oh, what time signature is this?" Or probably most of us are sitting there thinking, "Oh, what time signature is this? What's going on? Or was that an extra beat in there? Was that a bar of 5/4? Something like that." Whereas most people are sitting there and going, just head up, head down, head up, head down, the whole thing. And I was listening. Is it Kashmir? The other day, I'm trying to think. I don't know. It's gonna piss me off because it's literally on top of my playlist. Bananan, bananan, bananan,
yeah.
bananan.
Yeah,
Led Zeppelin.
Kashmir.
3/4 over 4/4 the whole way through, and it's just a great tune. But you're not sitting there thinking, "Oh, he's playing this and they're playing that." It's just it works as a whole thing, and I love it when a musician's able to do that. And Gavin Harrison is the personification of taking any time signature, it doesn't matter what he's doing, and putting something that's really grounded and really works with the music, as opposed to playing over the top of it.
Benefited. Like,
Indeed.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm the same. I would just listen to what's going on around me and try and put vocals to the whole picture rather than the time signatures. That's always worked with me. I'm crap at adding up as well, so I've never really gotten Camille's time signatures at all. But I've always had the job of trying to create some sort of melodies and things like that fit over it, and it is really difficult. But yeah, like I'm not a mathematical type of person. I don't care what the drums do. I just want them to sound good, and I don't mean that in an offensive way, because I do care about the person behind the drums. But I want that person to just make it part of the music rather than all this flashy, flamboyant shit that I hear a lot nowadays. That really does my head in. be
think-
honest.
Yeah, I think there's a
Yeah.
good time and a place for all the crazy flashy stuff. And like if I go to a drum show, if I'm going to Modern Drummer Festival, or you're heading to what's the like Pisces, or any of those big festivals where you're there to see somebody at at the peak of their profession, then fine, show off, do all the flamboyant stuff. If I go to a gig, if I go to a show, if I'm listening to music, I want to hear music. I want to hear something all round. I want to enjoy what I'm listening to without having to sit there and count.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you cross that line, you try.
Mm.
For
Mhm.
me, for example, I always have to count. Actually, I just need that knowledge to just feel free, to just enjoy the music, to
Mhm.
just make everything really easy between the parts. So for me, counting is quite important. If you know how to play, you know how to play, and you can play and enjoy. So just want to say that.
No, that's fair.
Simon looks confused.
Someone always looks
Yeah.
quiet ones. I'm expecting something profound from both of you guys.
We're
observing.
talking actually between us now, so
You're connecting on
yeah, telepathically.
Star Trek.
We're thinking, what the hell are they talking about with those numbers? Why?
Exactly, yeah. Meanwhile, you're
Sounds
fucking
like drums to me.
connecting in binary.
Just been blinking
0,
binary the
1,
whole time.
Yeah, blinking in binary between each other.
I can just sort of see, because you're on the same level. I'm sort of imagining you're holding hands under the table.
Oh, fuck's sake, my headphones.
Footsies, like, but don't tell me, man.
I need to fill this up.
Definitely. Fill that up.
Uh,
Okay, so I'm gonna aim this one at Coke.
Yeah.
I was listening to the playlist on Spotify. Man, like it's such a wide range of tunes, but there's so many on. Got everything from Coheed, Cambria to Kiss, God. I appreciate like playing bass is be at point also, and kind of keep back of the back. How do you approach bass line?
So usually the riffs be between me and Tom. Will come up with like a generalized riff sort of thing, and what Tom will be playing, I'll be kind of sort of like playing a similar sort of rhythm to it, sort of riff. I'll just be adding sort of like little flourishes every sort of other bar sort of thing, just to keep the space kind of filled out sort of thing. But like the sort of like my background, like I kind of like grew up listening to like Metallica. Like I was a big Cliff Burton fan. Um, I was quite a big like thrash metal band sort of thing, so like Cliff Burton and Dave Ellison sort of thing like that. And then I kind of like when I went to college, I met like a few guys and they got me into the whole prog thing. So I was massive fan of Rush. Like Geddy Lee was one of my big inspirations, like through my college years, sort of thing like that. And I kind of like bring a sort of a few sort of little flourishes like that to the ColdHarbour sort of sound. I mean, like stuff like Battlestar Spectacular, and the sort of a little bass section in the middle, sort of like how I came up, how we sort of like came up with that. Like, you ever heard Raindrops by Chopin? Like, it's it's sort of it's like a quite like peculiar sort of like piece of music where like if you imagine sort of like tracks like in a recording studio, like you've got like your guitar, your bass, your drums, like X amount of guitars, like one starts and then it just adds each time, like one rhythm keeps playing. I kind of like came across I came across that and I was like, I'll use something like that for this song. So when it came to sort of like the bass solo for Battlestar, I was like, okay, I'm going to play the first little bit, and then we'll go back into like the main riff sort of thing, and then it's going to jump back to the same bass solo riff, but add a little bit more, and then it's going to jump back to the main riff, and then it's going to jump back to the bass solo. I'm going to add little flourishes like each time sort of thing. So like I think like Battlestar is probably like one of the more proggy elements that we've written or we've recorded so far, and I sort of like added my sort of little touches to it. Like most other times, it is like literally me and Tom, we're like linked up with the riffs. Tom will have some little flourishes as well, so I'm going to be like backtracking it with Ian a lot of the time. So like I'd say me and Ian, we're a strong rhythm section. We can hold it for the band. While Tom does his sort of like vocals and his sort of like lead parts whenever they when they come into the songs.
Pin. Axis.
Hmm.
Tom, like, oh, you got between the pair of you. How do you approach like the riffs and stuff?
A lot of the time, I'm literally just all the time. Whether it be riffs, whether it be lyrics, I've always got something. So I will always jot something down. And since doing this, I've tried pushing myself a bit further. So because, as I say, Alex and Ian have both been introducing me to bands and artists I've not listened to before, effectively, I will listen to that music and try and come up with my own way of doing it, if that makes sense. Sort of like with Battlestar, for example. The opening riff to that, I was basically trying to emulate Dream Theater a little bit. You know, Octavarium is one of my favorite albums by them, and I listened to Panic Attack and I thought, oh, I really like that. That's quite nice. I like that. So I wanted to sort of emulate that, and it's the same all round. I'll listen to something like Coheed and Cambria or something, or trying to think of a couple of the other bands that Alex got me listening to, but but I'll literally think to myself, well, I want to do something in that style, but I'm a grunge player, so how am I going to approach it? So I'm almost trying to write for Alex in a way, because then Alex then takes it to the next step, if you like, and then helps lead me in the right direction. And it's made me a better writer as well. From where I was, a few years ago, which was I was happy writing my kind of grunge inspired sort of like songs and that. I'm now pushing myself to try and do genres I'm not as comfortable with. Yeah. It's made me a better guitar player. It's made me a better writer as well, because it's allowed me to think outside the box on a lot of things.
Super helps. Bass player pretty happy to bend as wicked, like bend off each back to you
or over.
bend over.
Yeah.
Toilet.
Bend over each other.
On that note, Jim, hitting yourself. Why don't you enlighten us with that story?
No,
Every show.
not again.
Every show.
No.
Come on. You think there's ever a case where you might shit yourself again?
Yesterday, I thought Camilla had shat himself.
I didn't shit myself. I said my trousers are wet because I was.
You can watch back to back at the other.
But you pissed yourself.
Oh, did you? Oh, oh, you said your trousers were wet.
I was scared.
Well, it sounded like you'd shit yourself.
So high, it's like, and he forced me to do it. It's all right.
I did.
If you just go on the roof, you can do anything, in your life. I said, shut up, go. And he said, no, you go. And
yeah, I was trying to do that Mr. Miyagi thing, the Uncle Jim thing. You must go up ladder.
Yeah.
You go up ladder, you'll become
Rosa,
my
you
hero.
can do this.
And he was like, no, I'm not going. He took about like 5 steps. I'm not going any higher. I'm scared. I'm too big.
Something he's never heard before in his life.
Oh, he has. Oh, it's gone. It's gone quiet now. Oh, we don't talk about that.
I don't know.
No,
Okay,
no.
here we go with the shitting story. Jim, do you think you can, control your anus next time you scream live on stage?
Oh yeah, no, I can. Because I've learned the limit.
Have you
I've
been
got
doing yoga?
Anal floor program.
Yeah.
Tighten that bum hole.
But yeah,
cream for
basically the
that?
story goes back to when I once screamed so loud a little nugget popped out, and I at that point realised that perhaps
God
maybe
damn
I should not scream quite so hard. So we've been focusing more on the singing side of things ever since.
So that's why the music's changed direction slightly.
Yeah, yes.
No more
One nugget,
people
and you're like, "Yep, I'm done."
Goes on the pool.
But it's like little Willy Wonka's golden ticket. Really,
Oh.
that's what it was. It was a little golden nugget. Because since we've done that, everybody prefers what we do now, don't they?
My favourite breakfast, Joe.
They seem to-
Oh, sorry, that reminds me. Sorry. So this is a question for you guys then. Do you find that people tend to latch onto your less like out there in terms of like as you were just saying, like if you were to do more kind of hardcore growls and screams and that kind of thing, do you find that people tend to then latch onto the songs that are a little bit more chill, a little bit more mellow, like regular, like the standard singing vocals that everybody expects much more easily than songs like that, despite the fact songs like that don't tend to always take maybe quite as much effort to make appealing?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like that charity song that I did in a day has had more listens than the stuff we've been working on for years. I thought I'd throw that out in a day, and to me, it's not particularly thoughtful. It just literally came out in my head, so I thought I'll record this, and then thought, oh, it actually sounds quite sweet, sounds quite beautiful. So I'll put it out as a charity single and see if people like it, and it has done immensely well compared to the others. And in that sense of the word, I'm really disappointed because the other songs that Camille's written are so much better in my ears than something that took a day to do. But I think overall, you're looking at the kind of the population of the world, I suppose now. And what the population of the world generally likes is melody and, music to the sound of a heartbeat at the end of the day. So, yeah.
Comment on that song,
It's
because
that-
you released
it's a
that
little
song
bit
before I
sad.
even joined the band. Like one of the songs,
Yeah.
it really threw me left field. Like I got the offer to join a heavy metal band. And I heard this song, and I was like, "Hey, this is interesting." And I think it's got like one of those songs where because maybe you've just done it in a day, and it's pretty much like I talk about like catching lightning in a bottle, and you can never catch lightning in a bottle twice. Where like if you over record something, if you try and overdo something, then it just, I don't know, it doesn't work. And I think like you really did a really good job of lightning in a bottle on that song, and because you've done it in a day, it was like off the cuff. It's rough around the edges, and I think that's what makes it better. I think like sometimes when you do those type of songs, those ballady songs, you want it to be very kind of throwaway-ish because of that rawness, kind of that earthy feel, I mean,
In the moment, like when you're having sex.
yeah, for sure. When you splooge,
It's a bit rough around the edges. It could be better, but we've done our best.
Tom, is that your
Point on
last
the back
victim?
wall, for Christ's sake.
We didn't really get to the bottom of this before we come live on Twitch. I said to Tom, I was like, "What the hell happened there?" So that's my last victim. But yeah, I think we made some other jokes that was very not very PC. So what the hell's going on with that bloodstained wall over there?
It's literally because we're going to be redecorating and we're just testing
Right.
out some different shades. That's literally what it is.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
perfectly innocent,
Very adulty
and
stuff.
that's the
you know.
story I'm sticking to.
Yeah, I really wanted to clear that up because we, a good half an hour into a stream. I don't want the police to turn up at your doorstep, thinking something's gone wrong. So I just really want to get that in now and make sure that
There'll be other reasons the police turn up at my doorstep. Don't worry.
Yeah, that rape charge, it's cool, man. I'll vouch you.
We're
But
married. It's fine.
yeah, exactly. Can't rape anyone if you're married.
Well, I can't say
Just
anything,
Twitch
so
pick up on audio stuff like that.
we
Yes.
laugh. We joke. Don't ever laugh.
Yes. For disclaimer purposes, disclaimer. All just joke.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hashtag just joking. Hashtag.
Hashtag
Hashtag.
100% just jokes.
Hashtag
Well,
lols.
Jake.
So what are you guys planning as well? Because obviously we've got this point where we're now kind of breaking out of the lockdown, and things are slowly returning a little by little, and then bars and like our rehearsal studio is going to be open like 17th of next month, and then I believe venues are going to start opening as
You
well,
guys
and
you're at Earth too, aren't you?
yes, yeah, we love Earth.
Give a
Massive
plug to
shout
Earth
out to
Studios,
Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys have been absolute fucking legends. Also, if you're listening, Pete, I fucking love you.
All kinds of ways.
I mean, this whole
yeah, if you're
past...
listening, Pete.
Dude, trust me.
Ooh,
There's a lot of
yeah.
guys here that want to rub you up, man.
We all love you, Pete. I mean, this whole past lockdown. So I
so
mentioned
hard.
before we started the stream that I'd bought a little cheapy Roland drum kit, just to sit at home and practice. And Pete, God bless his soul. So I bought this thing. It's a TD6. So it's one of the ones with it's got a mesh snare and it's got 3 of the plastic toms. It's got a 3-zone hi-hat and 2 3-zone cymbals, and a nice enough pad that you can fit a double pedal on it. And now it's got a couple of little issues here and there. It's an older kit. The gent was completely upfront on us. He was like, "Hey, these things don't work quite so well." He even knocked a little bit off the price of it, and he was an absolute star for that. And I've been fixing it up little by little. And first thing I realize is that the actual snare, there's this little bit of foam underneath the head that touches the mesh head that vibrates, and the little sensor at the bottom, and that's how it picks up on what you're doing. Frustratingly, the foam that's in mine is just fucking shagged. The stuff, it feels like wet rubber, and if you push it, it stays in the same shape. So it's dead. And Pete, bless him, he hunted up the website that he uses to get all the foam across, and he's been chucking me messages like, "Oh, if there's an issue with this, then bring it in and we'll fix it together." And the man just fucking loves music. I mean, he's been a star. My hi-hat broke just before a gig, just before our live stream gig, which was like the biggest one we'd played in a while. It was like a full hour-long set, and it was a nice professional setting, and we did this thing. And like a week before, my hi-hat, the pedal, the chain just sheared apart. And Pete was like, "Yeah, here, have my 300-pound hi-hat pedal, so you can continue the show." Mate's a legend.
He is a legend, isn't he, Camille?
Yeah.
Exactly. Is that what you
Yep.
can say?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah, he does. I mean, like we'd lost a drummer, and we were booked in to record drums. Funnily enough, at the time, and we thought, who could we ask? So we asked Peter if he wanted to do the drums, and he said, "Yeah, of course, I'll come and do the drums." And just came down and literally just banged them out perfectly, like within, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 takes. I think it took him to do all those, and it was just like, oh my god! And they weren't just like banging them out either. They were properly skilled drums. He's a properly good, he's a proper good drummer.
I
And
spoke
if you
to him
listen
about that.
Synaptic, his band is just superb, and John's a great vocalist as well.
Mm-hmm.
I suggest you check them out, everybody on Twitch.
Every time
Please
when
do.
we ask
Guy.
Pete for any help, he always helping us, like with rehearsal with some new members, and with that recording, that was brilliant, because in a really short time he just you go through 3 songs, and actually just I don't think so that we actually have a time for 3 songs, but he just go through, and that was amazing, and absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant drummer, and a really nice person for chat, for talk about the music, it's amazing guy.
Synaptic. Sorry, Synaptic. I'm very lucky to have him. Honestly, I'd just give him my spot if I could. Guys, a bit of a legend in that one. We ended up actually speaking for a little bit as well, because obviously there was that point where you were looking for a drummer, and you guys saw me at a show as well, and you mentioned, hey, would you be interested in coming along and have a practice? And at the time, obviously with ColdHarbour and the fact that I was working full time, as I said to you guys, there was no way I could like add a commitment. But I actually spoke to Pete about it, and he had nothing but praise to say for you guys. And on top of that, when I was talking to him, because I didn't know he recorded your tracks, and I was talking to Pete at the time, I was like, hey, these double pedals, I don't think I'd be able to do these double pedals. And he was like, yeah, no, that's me, mate.
Bastard.
Absolute fucking legend.
I'm a legend.
Sorry, this has turned into a bit of a We Love Pete show, hasn't it?
Yeah, hashtag
Yeah,
we love Pete.
why not?
He better be fucking watching this.
Wanker.
Ian,
What a prick.
he's drunk and passed out. You know it.
Never snap.
He brews his own vodka as well, which is probably not
Yeah.
allowed to be said on Twitch or anywhere else in the UK.
Right.
If you ever get given some of his home brew stuff, it will knock you the fuck out. So be very nice to Pete. Hey Pete.
Hi, Pete.
I'm going
We all
to
love
might-
you.
You might get his next batch.
Exactly.
Get
It's
his next
full on
batch.
Chris Tucker shit. It knock you the fuck out. So
Yeah.
we need to get our taste buds on that one. So,
Hmm.
so what's next for ColdHarbour? Like, once again, I saw you guys released a new single in November last year. right in saying?
Yes, we managed to get into a studio sort of at short notice because obviously we'd kept writing. We were supposed to start last year anyway, and we had the studio booked and everything. And obviously with lockdown, everything just got pushed back because we were going to start an album because that's what we'd been writing for.
Cool.
And we were like, well, we want to get something. There was a lull period where restrictions were alleviated, so to speak. And it was like, well, let's try and single out. And out of the new songs that we had, it was like, right, this song I think would work the best. It's a little bit, more, I don't want to use the word, but it's a bit more commercial than some of our other songs as such. And we sort of found another studio we could record in at sort of short notice and get that out. But we have got the studio booked to get back in, the original studio we were going to record at, which is the Sick Room Studios, just outside Narborough. A really great guy run by Owen, who is wonderful, who's originally from a band called Magoo, which is a great band.
I remember them.
And yeah, and yeah, so that's the thing. We've got a headlining gig coming up later this year. We're headlining the Airfest for Shannon Crome. Shannon, love you. Great work that man does, organising events and putting stuff together. He really works hard in the local music scene. So, and I think that's it. That's all we've got booked so far for this year. And the other gigs we have booked so far are going into next year. So
I think
everything's
the only other thing you haven't really mentioned was that obviously we've been working on the tracks for the album for a little while, and hopefully we should have some more out by the end of the year with any luck.
Yes.
It depends obviously with everything that's going on at the moment, as I'm sure you guys are, in the same boat as us. Like every time we try to make some plans, it gets completely fucking waylaid, and then more restrictions come in. Oh, we've changed tiers. Oh, now there's another lockdown. Okay, now we're kind of getting out of it, but then things are being delayed, and like it's been a fucking nightmare for everybody in the arts. It's
Remember, like we had like a Simon said, point in booking gigs. Like,
Mhm.
right, book the gig, cancel them.
Yeah,
Got a gig
exactly.
booked.
Mhm.
Why the fuck? Dog shit.
Mhm.
you know, have that. Keep moving
As
forward.
a
Keep moving forward.
I've been especially impressed by some of my musical friends who, up until this point, so I actually and the band have probably been waiting the entire time for me to mention this. I moved here from Cornwall, and I've been in Norwich for about 6 months,
Hey,
six
pasties.
years. Yeah, pasties. Fuck, I've got them in my freezer as well. Cornish ones.
Like some
Can't
kind
have
of
that
drug
Ginsters crap. I'm
cartel.
sorry. Sorry, Ginsters, you'll never fucking sponsor me now. But I've moved up from here, and I made a lot of contacts. I mean, the town I came from is like a tenth of the population of Norwich, so you know, a lot of community, and a lot of the musicians. I mean, we just know each other down there, and I know one guy who his entire income was gigging. Like, he would go out and do solo sets. He has on average 180 gigs booked every year. This man is like an absolute fucking workhorse. For those bad at maths, it's one every 2 days. One every 2 days. And he does solo sets, he does little acoustic gigs, and then he does full band stuff, he does festivals, biker festivals, all the rest of that, and all to make ends meet. And when this happened, his income went from all of that to literally one little fucking paycheck that they gave him for, oh, because you're a self-employed musician, because you're self-employed, oh, we'll give you like $1,000 or something. Yeah, sure, that'll tie you over for 6 months. So in the time, him and his brother, who are both musicians who have been screwed by this, have opened up a butterfly house where they breed butterflies, which is something one of them has done for years, just as kind of like his own hobby. And they've turned it into this gorgeous, it's a ginormous fucking atrium filled with all these rare, incredible butterflies. And they make an actual living off this now, having a butterfly house, which I think is a testament to the resilience of people.
Yeah.
Butterfly brothel. You fucker up. Can't play gigs, man. That's insane.
I like that
Fucking
Right.
idea.
That's super cool. I mean, like, you know, most people
Can,
would just
can
be
we
like,
do
yeah.
that instead?
Oh man, I'm all for it. Yeah. I mean, you know, you go stack like shelves in Sainsbury's, but I mean,
I'm
you know,
gonna
fair play,
start
man.
up a
Fair play.
cauliflower farm,
Oh, cauliflowers.
cauliflower museum.
Like a good cauliflower
Maybe.
cheese.
Yeah.
I mean, like, once again, like, on total, like,
we were told to think about doing other things, weren't we? Forget being a fucking musician. Find another job. That's
Oh
what
God,
the
I remember that
government
bit.
but I mean, like, one of the guys that like
Yeah.
I got really friendly with when I first started streaming on Twitch, was a guy called Leon Bratt, BRATT. Check him out. The guy's, when he started the first time as me on Twitch, he's now got like 20,000 followers. He's doing insane.
Holy shit.
Fucking
Wow.
insane. He was just a dude working like as a piercer in a tattoo shop. Then decided like he wanted to be a musician, and he's a super good, you know, acoustic guitars singer. Went off and done like his own thing, and was starting to just kind of get somewhere. And then COVID hit, so he started streaming on Twitch, and mate, he's just gone through the roof, like through the roof. The guy is just. I remember he like. Mate, he's just he like raided one of my streams once with like 20 people. Now you drop in one of his streams, he's got like 200-300 people at any one time. It's just insane, The guy is a, you know, I mean, yeah, and this is where like once again it works in two ways, doesn't it? Like coronavirus has killed a lot of people off, and fucked a lot of things over, but like that very small portion, that very tiny portion, have been able to find something from this that have propelled them into something else. And it just, once again, totally agreed. Like it shows there is resilience out there, and the guys that really want this, like, will make it happen.
Mm-hmm. Here's to everyone that's still writing
It's a bit like
music.
us. Yeah, I mean, we've still carried on doing music, and then we've had the opportunity to sort of think of other things we can do, like the fact that there could be a zombie apocalypse in a year's time, so we're building our own studio /zombie protection
/Winchester.
center.
Oh,
Yeah, so
yep.
you know, the machine guns are probably going to be the most expensive bit, but you know, the underground storage and all that kind of stuff. We've properly worked all this out, so no zombie can attack us from making music in the future.
Well, that's the question, isn't
So,
it? Like,
you know,
Sorry, that's. I mean, that's the big question. How do you make a music studio that's zombie proof? Because the moment you make noise, obviously they come towards you, right?
Oh shit, man! I hadn't thought about that, Ian, dude. Fuck, that's a serious question, man. We should have that in your would you rather questions. Does anyone actually have a cohesive answer to that? Because I don't. Straight away, I don't. No. We're fucked.
Pub and wait for this all to blow over.
Really.
I mean, my instant thought, I mean, obviously, just straight off the top, would be, if you are going to make noise, obviously there's plenty of ways of dampening that sound. So obviously you go around dampening it, but in the event that you make sound, what I'd probably do is have like a speaker system connected somewhere, away from where you are at that point. So whenever you're actually playing, there's a louder noise coming from somewhere else, maybe. Like that would then drive them to a different point.
Yes.
You can tell I sit here and think about zombie apocalypses often, right?
Oh, okay. So I'm going to tell something that obviously no one here knows, but very few people know outside of Twitch, outside of YouTube, and all in the real world is that I've been writing like a book. It's taken fucking years. It's taken fucking ages. About a zombie apocalypse, and it's about a dude who survives a zombie apocalypse. Yeah, fuck you. But he
What? And he builds a studio?
No, not yet. But I can add that in if you really want me to. But like, okay, so the whole way around this, right, was the dude basically he decides he's gonna build like a tree fort in a woods because it's away from like a suburban area. It's away from like all the people, and it's up a tree. Zombies don't climb trees, man. Come on. Zombies don't climb trees.
Yep. I've never seen them climb a tree.
There you go.
Climb a fence, sure, but not a tree.
So fucking man over here. I know he might be a drum, but he clever, man. So yeah. So that was my thinking. So anyways, tree forts. Tree forts are the way for moving forward.
I like that. I'm just hoping if it is that it's not the zombies from fucking World War Z where they just pile on top of one another to get up to whatever fucking height, like a human pyramid. Because then we're all fucked regardless.
Oh shit. Didn't think this one through, damn it.
Ah, fuck.
That could happen though. What's the likelihood of zombie apocalypse is gonna happen anyways? Come on, man. Ain't gonna happen.
Nobody knows. I mean, nobody knew or nobody even considered the likelihood of a pandemic happening because we thought, oh, we've got such great fucking medical knowledge these days that we'll never see that sort of thing happen again. You know, like we'll never see a fucking nuclear fucking disaster or World War III. We'll never see any of that stuff, and then it just happens. So the zombie apocalypse could happen. You never know. We don't know what's going to happen in a year's time from this.
The way you're talking, it sounds like it's really likely to happen.
Well, you just don't know, do you?
Might get on William Hill and stick a fiver on it.
Stick a fiver on it. I don't think you'll be able to claim it. But, you know.
I'll get onto my mate Willie, see what he can say.
What odds are you going to give me, Willie?
Oi, Willie, what are you going to put up, son? No, I don't think he'll put up a lot. Don't trust him.
Definitely get that book out then, Sean. Definitely get that done.
Man, yeah, for sure. To be fair, it's one of those things where is anyone here like going around the room? Have you heard of Flight of the Conchords?
Yes.
Flight of the Conchords. So there's the robot song. It's like the distant future, the year 2000. Yeah. So this is basically exactly how my book's gonna be. Where it's gonna be like, the distant future, the year 2012, like because it's gonna take so fucking long to write, like because I'm gonna constantly change the motherfucker. So terrible. I'm pretty sure if I read the book now, it'll be like, in 2021, so and so does this, and I'm like, yeah, shit. Okay, I need to change that.
Don't forget the ever-present words of Neil Gaiman, which is your second pass through of everything is where you make it look like you knew what you were talking about all along. The first write through is always that part where everything's all over the place, but the second pass through is the one where you're like, yeah, no, I knew what I was doing. Yeah, we knew the end of the story from the beginning. Haha.
So new motherfucker. So yeah, I like that. And I think like there's always like you have to kind of like read it through, and think that's definitely like what I suck at is when I'm writing something, like I have to be in the groove and like, and I could write for days on end if I'm in the groove. As soon as I like step out of the rut, like, man, I really struggle. So I think it's the same with music as well. But
Oh God, writer's block, man. We've
dude,
all been there, right?
I know that. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
bad, so bad. Anyways, we're kind of getting on for like an hour. We've been chatting to you guys and talking everything ColdHarbour. Tom, Ian, I wanted to kind of give you guys a chance. Like, where can we check out like your music? Where can we check out like everything that's happening in ColdHarbour? Can you tell us about like the gigs you have got lined up? I know you've talked about like a headlining gig that's coming up later this year with Airfest. Can you tell us a bit more about that? Can you tell us where we can find your merch as well? And where guys can support you guys by spending money and buying your merch?
You can find us on Facebook as ColdHarbour UK. Our merch, we don't actually sell it online at the moment, but if you want to chuck us a message, we've got t-shirts available. If you chuck us a message through the Facebook page, and we can sort you out that way. We're also on Instagram as ColdHarbour Band UK as well. You can hear our music on all the major streaming services and stuff like that. We're on the whole lot. Obviously, we've got the headlining gig, headlining the last day of Airfest, the Sunday, the 26th of September. Great festival, all towards a good cause as well. It's raising money for the Hamlet Centre in Norwich. Great cause, working with young children, etc. So it's really great to be supporting that. And then the next gigs we have booked are February 3rd at the Waterfront, supporting Tigers of Pantang. And then after that, it's the 4th of March. Thank you, Ian. 4th of March,
Right.
the B2, supporting
Matt Long.
Oh, Matt Long, yes.
Yeah.
Supporting Matt Long. So as part of his tour. And that's the gigs we have booked so far. So
If anyone wants to buy some merch and support the dude, ColdHarbour, message, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere, and be sure to go check out those gigs. So guys, thank you so much for joining the show. It's been super cool to chat to you guys. I sincerely I'm gonna speak for all the other guys. It's super good to sit down and talk about music.
Zombie apocalypses.
And zombie apocalypses.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't expect that. Like honestly, I've been waiting every show for someone to bring up a zombie apocalypse until now. So, and I can finally promote my book, the book that you can't get yet.
Coming soon.
We're waiting for it.
Coming soon. So, yeah, to a really bad
It's going to be
bookshop.
a zombie manual.
I just picture black books. That's all I can think of. So, but you're not out of the woods yet, guys. You're not out of the woods yet. There's one final question.
Oh God.
One final
Uh-oh.
question. So you're
Okay.
nearly home and hosed, but you've got one last question that you need to answer. And I feel like I want to throw this one at Coey. Coey, bless him, has been quite quiet. Very much the
Well, you're gonna get banned.
yeah, but that's all I want. And this is the whole idea I've thrown at him. I can
Right,
tell
ones are the worst.
he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. So Coey, can I ask you, my friend, could you please pick a number between 1 and 30 for the Hedra? The answers to questions that no one wants to hear. When you are ready, please.
Good luck.
22.
Number 2.
22.
22. 22. 22. I can see Camille's already got a boner in his pants. He loves this bit.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't tell. Is that his laptop vibrating? The table moving all over the place? I can't tell.
It's lifting slowly.
Exactly. Yeah.
And going down.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to see your ceiling. Right. Okay. So now. Order in the court. So the question is, and once again, this is open to everyone, not just you, Coey. It goes to everyone in the room, including the guys in the Hedra. Is would you rather drink 2 liters of piss or 2 liters of sweat?
Who's piss?
Very good question.
Who's piss? Who's
It
sweat?
really
It's the same
shouldn't
person's
really make any
sweat.
difference, but it sort of does.
Can we agree that whoever it is, it's the same person's sweat and piss?
I agree to
'Cause-
that. Yeah.
Right.
If it's like, I mean, like if it's one person's sweat versus somebody else's piss, it gets really weird.
Yeah,
So
for sure. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, 100%. It has to be the same brand. so to speak.
I'm going to jump straight in because I've got to give my gut reaction to this one because I overthink things way too much when it comes to stuff like this. So I've got to say that I would probably I've got to go for the piss in this scenario because piss is fairly sterile, as we all learned from dodgeball over the years, and on top of that, like sweat, man. Like if you were to just take a random person out there, the smell of that much sweat, how has that been produced for a start?
Exactly.
Like, holy fuck, why are you sweating that much? And if we all think about the sweatiest person we know, chances are it's probably, you know, somebody larger, maybe somebody who isn't able to get into every nook and cranny when they're washing. That's not something I want. I'd rather have the sterile piss every day, but that's me.
No, no.
It's probably salty as well.
Oh God.
What I missed?
No, I kind of agree with Ian on that one. Obviously, I'll wait for. But, Simon, you seem to be struggling with this question, but then again, you're a vegan, so you know.
Fuck
Is,
it. Fuck both of them.
It's all organic.
is drinking someone's sweat considered non-vegan?
I don't know. I don't want to try. You know, I'm going for piss as well.
For the piss camp.
Yeah, piss camp.
I suppose if it was
That's
sperm,
it.
then maybe it could be anti-vegan.
I just don't know where they get the sweat from.
Well, like this is the thing. So okay, so I kind of mildly thought about this. So imagine someone on a treadmill. You know, the person that you're thinking of drinking.
Yeah.
Think about that for a minute. That's fucking weird.
Right.
But so think of the person that you're thinking. And if you're gonna drink their sweat, they're on a treadmill, they're running away, and someone's got a squeegee, and they're kind of, you know, dragging it down their back as they run. And they've kind of got like a glass under just above the crack of the arsehole. You know where like your bum kind of starts. You kind of got that slight kind of little. I don't know. I like to call it Death's Valley
Dibble.
because you know if
Dibble.
you have a scratch and sniff, it's got a real bad odor. So like, imagine that's just kind of pressed against there. You know, just really, you know, it's just slotted in. And then the squeegee is going down. You know, really like dragging the sweat into the. And you know, and you'd end up with a glove.
Sean.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know, I've really thought
You
this
have
through.
good imagination.
Thank you, Simon.
Yeah, at least the piss
I am an
is kind
artist.
of fresh.
We staying with piss, okay?
You're not changing your mind from piss there, no?
No,
No,
You're solidly in that camp. Okay.
I'm gonna
tried
keep
that.
with piss.
try to be poetic, and this is what I get.
Like I get it, but the problem is being a fairly fucking hairy as fuck dude. I know how hairy my ass crack is, and you know, just the no,
Death Valley, man.
it's
Telling
piss
you,
all the way.
Death Valley.
I can let someone else say that. Tom,
Yeah, Tom.
don't
Piss,
shy away.
Piss. I didn't even need to think about it. Just piss.
Welcome.
I love piss.
Well,
mate.
I didn't even think about it.
I love drinking
Didn't even
piss.
think about it.
Bring it on.
It's like, yeah, bring it on. Chances are it's probably an alcoholic's
Like-
piss, so I'm getting alcohol as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's totally what I was
Like being
thinking
at the
too.
brick
Good answer.
Pint of piss, please.
Yeah, I've probably put worse through my system, so it's fine.
Thanks, Mr. Sweat. I'll have a pint of piss. Thanks very much.
Yeah, like no, just no sweat. Go to hell. Piss. At least I might get something out of it,
Coey,
even if it's like a semi-boner.
What was you thinking, Coey? Come on, man.
What's the question? I zoomed out a bit.
Oh
Sorry.
no! Oh no!
Oh
I
no.
blanked out.
Oh man, you picked the question as well. The question was, would you rather drink 2 liters of piss or 2 liters of sweat? And we agreed it would be from the same person that you was drinking that manufactured fluid.
You see now, Tom and Ian know this. I used to be in professional wrestling, so I know what a fucking dude sweat fucking tastes like. Okay, so
It sounds all kinds of
only
weird if you
going-
don't want me saying.
yeah,
Very homoerotic. I'm not gonna lie.
it,
Did you enjoy?
Like when they land on you,
it was
when they land on your face.
Literally,
and
when
stuff,
they-
yeah.
fucking stink face, fucking everything. You
Oh,
know,
yeah,
I've had it
man.
all. You know.
Like full on like Rikishi stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
So, from just from the remembrance of the taste, probably the sweat.
Really, you go with sweat?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man. So like sweat's not that bad. So you like sorry,
But have you had piss?
I hate to go off
though?
on a tangent. Like, but like you've tasted other dudes sweat. Like, what's it like, man? Like I can't imagine how
I
intimate it
wouldn't
is. Like,
recommend it.
no, no,
Like
for sure.
when you're stuck in like when you've been going for about, even when it's been going for a couple minutes and you just start, the fucker gets
Yeah.
you in a headlock and you're right in that like
Dude, yeah.
armpit,
Yeah, yeah.
and you just feel the fucking thing go down your face, and it just, yeah, literally.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. You just like, yeah,
Stick
for
your
sure.
mouth and
Yeah,
you're
you just want to
like,
tap out, man. Like you want to get the fuck out of there.
Yeah.
But but then again, like that must be the hardest thing as well, because like once again, you're in such an uncomfortable position. But when you're wrestling, like you have to still give, like you still have to put the show on, right? Like you still have to like pretend you're, you know.
Oh yeah,
man.
definitely. You gotta make it look like you hadn't just like swallowed mouthfuls of fucking vinegar or something like that. It's
Some guys, squeezed hot foams of man juice in your face, Yeah.
literally.
But yeah, I mean,
And
like,
then you go and wrestle.
yeah, and then you go and
Yeah,
wrestle.
It's always
wrestle.
disgusting, this chat.
Yeah, no, so like,
So, Chloe, next time we go to the
Absolutely
gym
disgusting.
together, I will give you my sweat. Quite happily.
Sounds
Happily
like a
down it.
promise.
give you a sweat facial. Oh no, okay, yeah. Oh man, like Koei, man, fair play, dude. That's the one thing I couldn't do. I couldn't fucking do that wrestling shit for that reason. Being so like close to sweaty, dirty men. Camille, what would you rather do? What do you want to drink then, man?
I
What's
think
your
beer,
tipple?
Like, yeah, not sweat, definitely. It's like I'm trying sometimes my sweat. It's really salty.
You try your own sweat.
You just lick yourself.
Why do you
Like,
do that?
I don't know, like when you're drinking tequila. Oh yeah.
So when you have a shot of tequila, you lick yourself. Is that what you're saying? You're like a cat.
I'm scared as fuck now.
Just, put a start on my hand. However, yeah, I think not sweat. It's like.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
To be honest, that's question is like a trap question. It's like did your parents
You
know that
think?
you were gay? Yes or no? so it's same, It's like it's quite difficult to answer. However, yeah, sweat, not sweat.
I mean, Camille, why would you think that I would, put a trick question in here? Why would you think that?
And this is amazing, the way how you're talking about that.
Why would I do that?
Hey,
I
No.
just find it weird that everybody's really happy to go with piss.
Yeah. I know.
Golden shower, there's a market for it. That's what I'm saying.
I really
don't
want to
know
drink
what
piss.
it tastes like. I know what my own sweat tastes like, but I don't know what my own piss tastes like. So I can't say I would want to drink piss.
I feel like this is something we
Because I
should
don't
come
know.
back to in a later live stream.
Yeah.
We should all go away, have a taste, and then come back.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
I was gonna say Tom's created something here that we can't get out of, really. To be honest, thanks to you.
Wait,
Jim.
have any of us had Bud Light before? Because I feel like it might be fairly close.
Yeah, I was gonna
No,
say.
Foster's
yeah.
is though.
No, have you had Bud Light? Bud Light is like piss in a can.
Yeah, but
Oh, my-
Foster's is like, ah.
To be fair, like when you're having like one of those nights where you want to get drunk but you don't want to get drunk, you drink Bud Light.
Yeah, but I'm only ever going to drink to get drunk.
Yeah, I know, but like you just... Yeah, okay. I realise what I said
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, one of those
You may
nights
as
where
well
I
have
don't want to
said-
get drunk.
You may as well have said you just have an apple teeny without the teeny.
Yeah, but that sounds funny because it says teeny.
Oh, teeny.
I think I missed the teeny from The Simpsons. Maybe I'm
Oh,
going off.
Mr. Teeny.
Hey, maybe I'm going off on one.
That's fine.
More of
We
a
can
South
all go off
Park
on one.
person myself.
Oh yeah.
Oh really? Oh
mean, we're-
man.
What? Nobody a American Dad fan then?
Yeah, I don't
I
mind
don't
it.
know.
I
Not
used
for
to
me.
watch that couple seasons.
Mm-hmm.
More of a Simpsons all the time.
They're still going. I still don't get how they're still
Oh
going.
man, like
They said
they're
ages
so
ago.
bad as well, like so bad. Like it's always that like everyone talks about like that golden band of like Simpsons, where it's from like seasons 4 to 9, like
Mhm,
that like
mhm.
90s period. Like those were the golden band. Anything after that's trash. I think there's like
I usually go from seasons 1 to 8. Is
yeah,
usually my favourites.
yeah, dude. I think like beginning of season 9 was the what was the episode I watched the other day? But like even like beginning of season 9 was okay. There's an episode during season 9 where Homer decides to start doing marijuana, and that was
Yes. Yep.
like
That
that's
was a
when like
fucking great episode. I'm sorry.
nah man, it
That one
was
actually got me. That
terrible.
genuinely got me. It was. I mean, so the jokes about weed in there are just way off the mark. But the fact that they, as the Simpsons, were even willing to touch material that 4 years, like even the year prior, they weren't even willing to go near. Like if they'd had the balls to do stuff like that to begin with, I think there would be no doubt that they would always be the greatest cartoon of all time. But the fact that they kind of waited and waited, and then at the point where they actually did that joke, as like if they'd done that a couple of years earlier, I think people would have thought of it as genius. But the fact that they did it in that season specifically, after everything else, and after Family Guy had come along and kind of broken the mold a bit, and South Park was out and was very well known for just completely breaking the mold when it comes to talking about drugs, it was a shame it didn't come earlier. Essentially, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, like for me, like like the Simpsons always be kind of like slightly more wholesome, and it was not the right arena to be doing that kind of shit. Like for me, like it was all like it was totally American Dad, it was totally Family Guy, it was totally that kind of you could have got away with it in Futurama, but for me, like it didn't work in The Simpsons. I didn't like how it worked with the characters almost. I mean, like Simpson, like Homer Simpson being a dope head just didn't work. You know what I mean? Like it's like a character thing.
It didn't fit really. I mean,
Yeah.
after the years of him, because his drug's beer. Like he drinks. That's the thing. He's an alcoholic.
Exactly.
The classic line that he says to Lisa after Lisa says, "I pick up books like you pick up beers," and she and he's like, "Well, you have a serious reading problem then."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just like all these things like he would say. It was such like a drunken thing. I loved it when like there was the episode where he first got on the internet as Mr. X, and he buys a computer and he's like, oh, they have the internet on computers these days. And like, little things like this. Like once again, it's this kind of drunken. Like to me, it's drunken almost. I mean, like silly, not thought process thing. So. Then when you like add like an arena like such as drugs for like no reason and whatnot, and I think it's cool like on a cultural level, but for me it just didn't fit, and like that for me was a turning point. It was like, okay, we're turning away from like this universe where we've created this cartoon world, and now we're stepping out and doing something completely different that over encompasses the world. And that's when you start getting the really bad spin-off shows. You start getting the really bad like guest appearances. You start getting like the stupid episodes where like Homer and Mars split up so he can become like a gay counselor or something. You're like, dude, like no, like go back to like the random like Treehouses of Horror and like Martin Milhouse going off like doing something stupid like drinking a super squishy, I mean, full of sugar. Like those are the episodes that were funny and they were like original.
This is the thing. I mean, you've literally just pointed out why my statement was actually entirely wrong. You go back and you see the episode where, where they drink that super squishy, and it's as if they've, they're completely off their tits the entire time. And then there's the one where Homer goes to the chili cook-off, and he has that spoon that he's had carved out of a slightly larger spoon, and he goes and eats the fucking chili, and he ends up as if he's on peyote, going out into the fucking wilderness, talking with the animals, and like so they genuinely touched on all of that ages ago, and those episodes I've got to say are probably my favorite. I mean, the chili cook-off one is real hard to top.
Oh yeah, so good, so funny. Yeah, when he puts his tongue in wax so he can drink the insane chili or whatever it is. Yeah, so funny, man. So good. I mean, there's so many like small quips in there as well. Like I don't know. I watched the episode as well the other day where they go to the dump and they find the detergent box and it's got like Homer's face on it.
Yeah.
Mr. Spackle.
Yeah, Mr. Spackle. And the silly things like once again it's casual racism, but like he rings up China and they're like, "Howdy, Chief. Why do we talk? Why not?" Like trying to do like really bad like American accent, like trying to do this thing. and but it's hilarious. Like it's so funny, and you know, it turns out like it's just an amalgamation of a bulb and a fish, and Bart says like,
just happens to look like him.
Exactly, yeah. And Bart just turns around and goes, "Well, there's your answer, fish bulb," and it's just silly things like that. Just it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Anyways, before we like disappear into randomness of Simpsons for the next 3 hours, I think it's best we kind of cut the show here and let our guys like enjoy the rest of our Sunday. But yeah, I want to kind of extend around, and I'm sure I'd like to give the other guys a chance to say just thank you so much, man, for coming and hang out with us on a Sunday night, man. Thank you, ColdHarbour.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
Thanks for having us.
Honestly, it's been great fun.
Not at all, man.
Definitely.
Not at
good.
all. So once again, you heard it earlier on. Head over to the Facebook, guys. Anyone who's on Twitch right now, anyone's on YouTube later, head over to the Facebook. Send the guys a message and get some merch. Buy one of the t-shirts. Support the guys, man. Fucking live it up, man. So, and we're gonna see you guys out on the road. We're gonna see you guys at the show at Airfest.
And buy ours as well.
Oh,
buy
you know,
ours
if
as
you
well.
fancy it, but you know, support the other guys. You know, I mean, this is why we're doing this. So, but yeah, but buy our shit. If you don't buy
No,
our shit,
just
then
buy ours. Actually,
Yeah.
definitely buy
Buy our
ours.
shit.
But
exactly. I'll fart in your general direction.
we don't
So-
have any left. What's
We-
that?
what?
Sorry, we sold out of all ours.
Well,
Have
this is
we?
the problem.
Oh man, we better buy
Problem
some
with being in the
ColdHarbour.
middle of a pandemic. Why would we create more merch when we can't plug it at shows?
Got it, man. So yeah, because we haven't got any, go buy some cold hard stuff. We're really sorry about that. So yeah, no, do it. No, do it. And yeah, I'm sure if anyone say we'd love to have you back again for a future show and find out how you guys are getting on and how those gigs went, man. So
Sure, we can have another drunken ramble fairly soon.
full show. We can
I'll
talk.
actually make sure I'm drunk for it.
Do it,
Maybe
man.
it'll be in the flesh.
In,
Ooh.
And then we can
Ooh,
lick
could
each
you
other's
imagine?
sweat.
That'd be good.
yeah.
Oh,
we
Or
can-
God.
drink each other's piss.
Oh fuck!
Yeah.
That's the point
I'm
where
up
you
for this.
present that question, but then you present 2 fucking cans.
do it. Do it.
Prove it.